Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Healing Place Energy School. My name is Helen Chin Liu. I am a certified reflexologist, certified energy medicine practitioner, a Reiki master and teacher, and I'm also the owner of the Healing Place in Medfield, Massachusetts. I want to welcome you to this 30 minutes of Ask the Reflexologist on questions about reflexology, chakra balancing. What else do we want to talk about? Maybe mindfulness. And today, I figure one of the things that's been asked of me is what to do in terms of hormonal balance. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. I've been a certified reflexologist since 2006, and I've probably given approximately about 13,000 healing sessions in all of this time. And how I started this journey was very much at the time back in the, I would say, about 20, maybe 2008, around that time. No, I would say about 2004. My son was very, very sick at the time. The only choices we had were traditional medicine. And unfortunately, at the time when he was very young, and the only options we had were medications that was not made for children. They were made for adults. So he went from having physical issues to emotional issues. And I was going to do my very best to help him. And the journey of healing for him probably took about 10 years. He is a young adult now. I would say he has more, I would say 50% good days, 50% off. So there's something that's always inside of him that is there's a conflict. And years of just working with him, being a business coach, hi Kim, just helping him to feel better took a toll on not only on him, but our whole family. And from there, I've accumulated this knowledge and I'm thinking there must be other people who have the same situation and they don't want to do 100% traditional medicine. I believe in traditional medicine, but I also believe in awaken your inner healer. Everybody has an inner healer. And so this is something that I really focus on when I'm talking to people who come to me as the Healing Place in Medfield. And now that, since I can't be everywhere, I am trying really hard to share my knowledge on a global platform, like talking to you. And one of the things that I've been doing is I'm going to give myself a plug. My Healing Place Energy School is something that I am bringing to everybody. In fact, I just finished up because I'm like, oh man, look what time it is. I lost track of time. What was I working on before I came on? A 3-part series on how to set up a sacred healing space. What does that comprise of? Most people want to do healing work, not only on themselves, but perhaps on a loved one. And how do you start to set up a healing space for you? So most people have no idea what to do. So what I did was I talk about the space, how to get into the mindset, how to call upon spirit guides and angels. What do you do when the calling really begins to call you and you don't know what to do or who to talk to? And I remember part of this journey for many decades, I didn't have anyone to talk to. And out of my family members, I am the only one I have this gift. Out of 5 brothers and sisters, I'm the only one who has this gift. My parents don't have it. So somewhere I would imagine, I think I might have my maternal grandmother on my mom's side. I think she had it, but she died so young. She only died at the age of 34, and I never met her. And my mom was just a young teenager at the time. And basically, what happened back then was my mom survived the Japan invasion of China back in the 1920s. And I really believe my grandmother died of starvation. She was really sick and she just perished for no apparent reason. So once in a while, I get my grandmother will come to me in my dreams and talk to me about doing healing work. And so what I did was I went back to school at the age of 49. Can you believe it? 49. Because the calling started to call me. And I said, you know what? I need to listen. I was really hoping to skip out in this lifetime and not do any healing work. Well, I guess the spirit guides have a different story for me. So that's what I was developing right before, developing how to develop your sacred healing space, how to get yourself, your body into the mindset, and learning what's important when you first start to do healing work is trust what you feel, because there's so much doubt when you first start that it becomes really hard to do this work. And once you start to get into the practice and trust in what you feel, the healing just flows, because everybody has what I consider an inner healer. Everyone could do this work. No one's exempt. And I've even taught little children how to do reflexology, and everyone and anyone who comes to me. So I'm going to answer all of these questions because everyone is like, okay, we have a lot of questions. So let me just tell you a little bit for those people who are interested in going to reflexology school in the USA. First of all, there's not that many of schools. And why? I would say it's for many people, depending on where you are in the USA, it's really hard to establish a business. I'm not going to kid anybody. At the age of 66, I still work every day. And the reason why it's really hard because people don't believe that they are capable of self-healing. So going to a reflexologist, a foot certification program in the USA is 300 hours. And I probably have close to 800 hours of specialized training. So starting at the age of 48, all I did was go to school up till I was 56 years old. And I still go take classes today. But there's so few what I call really good reflexologists. So don't fall into those traps of what I call the $35 foot reflexology jobs. That sounds really nasty. But unfortunately, you have somebody who owns the place and is actually doing the training. And what they're doing is what I consider a foot rub. And I don't begrudge anyone from making a living, but unfortunately, these people are not reflexologists. And so that's something I really want to share. I want you to, and how do you know? How do you know reflexology if they've been certified? Well, first of all, if they can't tell you how many hours are in the certification program, and what's worse, they can't speak English. And I'm Chinese, and most of the people who work at these places, unfortunately, don't speak English. And here I am, trying to, and I know exactly what they're doing because I've checked out a couple of them, and I'm trying really hard to communicate with them, but they really don't know what they're doing. So they don't know that I'm a certified reflex. Here we go. Starting with the skin, digestive, respiratory, urinary, lymphatic, circulation, nervous, muscular, the skeleton, and endocrine. That's the one we're going to talk about today. And one thing about reflexology, it sends messages. So everything, all your messages, as you're pressing on points on your hands, there's face reflexology, there's ear reflexology. I know somebody wants me to do more ear reflexology. I'm going to think about doing that one probably on my school, because that's not a tip that, especially if they want a whole protocol. What is it? As you're pressing on points, all of these messages, where's my feet? Okay, here's my feet. Okay, everybody, my reflexology feet. As you're pressing on points, all this information is going up through your spine. The spine's on the inside of your foot. And all this information is going up into your spinal cord, up into your brain. The brain starts to recognize where the energy imbalances are, and then tells the body, okay, everyone got to play nice. So if somebody comes and say, well, will reflexology cure me? I cannot say, the answer is no, because what reflexology is really used for is for relaxation. Because once the body is able to relax, it's not be, hyperventilated, nervous, stressed, anxious, it gives the body a chance to self-heal. So and because of that, you're able to sleep better, you're able to eliminate toxins, you're able to go to the bathroom. But those are just small tools that you need for your entire package. Because if you go and do destructive things, if you have a smoker, a drinker, leisure drugs, you're shoveling shit against the tie. I'm going to be honest with you. You got to do the complete package. So reflexology is a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool in your wellness package. All right? Does everyone get that? If you have any questions here, okay, so everyone's just like, hello, 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 hello. Yes, I am 66. I will show you my license, but I can't do it right this minute. It's called living a really good life. Plus I got the Asian skin and the package deal. That's why. Okay, for some time and learn more. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, I found my color chart. I'm so happy. Can you see this? Unfortunately, it's backwards. If you email me, which I am going to put in a box, I could send you this chart. So what I'm going to teach you tonight on your hands. First of all, your endocrine glands, there's a lot of them. There is no one magic button. So let me tell you what they are. Up here is your pineal, your pituitary, your hypothalamus. Here is your thyroid and your parathyroid. Here is your pancreas, not your pancreas. Your thymus is right here. Your pancreas is a little further down. It's a little bit here. So we're going to talk about, it's also your ovaries and your uterus and your kidneys and your adrenals. Yes, there's a lot of endocrine glands in your body. And especially when you're doing fertility, hormone balancing, or hot flashing, menopause, perimenopause, unfortunately, there is no one gland that's going to address everything. So what I'm going to teach you tonight is a very simple, just your major glands. It's in your forehead. This one's here. Oh, see, check out my grays. It's right here, right behind the third eye. That's your pineal, pituitary, your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus is what regulates sleep. So if you're one of those people who wear sunglasses that you walk into the house, it darkens, you walk outside, it gets darker. Those are the worst things that disrupt your sleep. Why? Because your eyes got to take in so much light in order to know that it's dark. So if it's constantly shifting from dark to darker, your hypothalamus never regulates. So, and your hypothalamus also regulates your ovulation. So if those people who want to become pregnant, you could stimulate the hypothalamus if you want, just doing this. Give it like this on your head, on your ears. I wasn't planning to do ear reflexology. I'm going to pull out my ear model. Hang on one second. You can look at Kirby and Milo. Somebody's walking in the room here. Okay. Here's my ear model. I'm trying to keep my office neat because it gets really junky quick because I live here quite a bit. And then I'm going to show you what to do on your hands. And I'm even show you what to do on your feet. So here we go. This is your ear reflexology. Your head reflex point is in the earlobes. So if you point your third eye, this is where you put your earring. I have something against earrings. I don't have a hole in my ear. Sorry. I came in the world without a hole, and I'm going to die that way. So your major endocrine gland right here will be right where your third eye is, where you put your earring, if you have it in the middle of your lobe. So if you stimulate that area on both your earlobes at the same time, like this, that's going to stimulate the hormones in your pituitary gland. It's right about there. So this is something you could do. So if you're sitting there watching TV and your children are looking at you like it's like you're nuts, you just tell them that you are, all right? And how often to do this? You could do it pretty much every day. You could do it for a minute. I don't believe you should do it too long, because too much of a good thing is just as bad as nothing at all. And I know that makes sense, because you don't want to overstimulate and your poor endocrine gland will start to go nuts. So you could do it on your ears like this, on your hands. You do it right at the thumb. So basically at the thumb tip, if you take your thumb like this, check this out, everyone. There's my thumb. Drag your finger all the way until you feel a dimple. This is at the ball of your thumb, or maybe underneath the pad. And you could do it this way, and you start to stimulate. You see it like here? So it's right at, the point is right about here. So you go like this and you stimulate this. This will help you. This is what I do sometimes when I can't sleep. I'm lying in bed and I'm rotating this point. On the toes, it's exactly in the same place. So same thing with your big toe. You go right into the middle, and it's right about here. Once you go towards round until it's really soft, and you rotate. You could do all three spots. You really can. And you could do this every day, especially if you're having hormonal issues. This is part of what I do for people with fertility issues when they come to me, and I want to stimulate their all of their. Well, it's only part of this, but because one thing when you're doing this type of work, okay, let me see if I can hold this up. So here I would be holding, if I was doing a major point hold, I'd be touching here too. Check this out. I put my finger across like this for the thyroid and the parathyroid at the same time. So this is how you do a double one, like this. So this will give you an idea just to get everything to move. Does that everything make sense, everybody? Okay. All right. Oh, what if you're postmenopause? If you're still having hot flashes, let's say, this is something you could do. Because it's funny, when I'm working on women after menopause is over, I could tell they're hot flashing. What is hot flashes? Somewhere in your body, your brain thinks you still have an egg to pop out of your body. That's what the hot flash is. So the hormones are like surging together, and they're going, yes, we think we're going to push out another egg, but there's no egg. So that they have a surge, an energetic hormonal surge, and that's where the sweating begins. And I remember sitting there with my friends, watching them, the sweating as though they just have taken a shower. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do, but I just think it's kind of funny. And thankfully, I've never had hot flashes like that. So is that okay? Is that hopefully to answer your questions? Any other questions? I can't see or hear spirits, but I feel them receive. That's something that I talk about in my class that I just filmed online. We have 5 clairs. Maybe it's more like 7 clairs. There's clear audience where you can hear them, you can see them, you have this feeling that they're present, you have this knowing. There's some people who have very sensitive taste. There are the empaths that they're like SpongeBob, and they're picking up energy from everybody around them. And I use all of my clairs when I'm doing a healing. One of my gifts, which I mentioned in my class, is I can hear the words in the quiet. So a lot of times when you're doing reflexology, which I mentioned in my reflexology course, you're still going to start to pick up messages. You could actually, the body will start to talk to you and tell you what is wrong. It will not come out of the person's mouth because sometimes they don't even know what is wrong. And so as you start to pick up energy and start to become sensitive to what you're feeling, there's a story that's created through touch. And it's a safe touch, okay? Now, does that make sense to everybody? All right. What if, okay. Any other question? Hello, Kathy Walker. So see spirit guides, Mama Bear. Thank you for discussing this topic. So this is something that I'm really passionate about, teaching people how to activate their inner healer. Everybody can do this. And that's the reason why I do these live chats, to get people used to seeing me and asking me questions about healing that they could do on themselves. And as I mentioned, I'm still astonished after thousands of healings I've done. I'm still amazed what it could do even to this day. And since because of the pandemic, I really miss working with people. So I get to talk to wonderful people like you. And so that makes me happy too. So let me see what else. Any other questions? So anyway, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me, because otherwise what I'm going to do is probably go get some dinner after this talk. But this is a time to ask me, especially reflexology. If you have energy medicine questions that you want to ask, this is the time, because I have this knowledge and I'm willing to share. So I don't have a thyroid, but the medication is still. Okay, so when you don't have a thyroid, what reflexology cannot do is bring something back from the dead. I'm going to be honest with you. But if you have any, let's say, thyroid function left, the reflexology will maximize whatever thyroid you have. And in a case where with the medicine, unfortunately, something like that, let's say you want to do just focus on the thyroid. Your thyroid is at the base of your neck reflex point like it is. So you're just going to walk across and just notice where it feels tender. Wherever it feels tender, that is basically where the tenderness is in your thyroid. So you're going to do your right side and then your left, or it doesn't matter which thumbs that you use. Since I'm a righty, I'm going to use my right hand and walk across like this. And again, how often to do this? If you want, you could do it every single day. It doesn't take long. Just walk across 3 to 4 times. And remember, you're using the pad of your finger and not your whole finger itself. Like you're really digging at the tip of your finger like this. All right, right there. All right. Give this why. Gives us a, oh, you're so sweet. Anyways, so that's about it right this minute. If anyone else have any questions, here's your chance to ask. And then I look forward to maybe we could do another live chat next week if there's a subject you would like to talk about. But in the meantime, go and visit my Healing Place Energy School site. I think it's really a kick butt school, in my opinion. Right now, all the classes are taught by me until I have other healers who are interested in joining me. So it's a lot of work to get this information done. So it's not just only the lessons. There's homework assignments, there's mantras, there's usually all the reflexology has a downloadable manual that goes with the course. What else do I do? Sometimes I can't even keep up with myself, to be honest. All right. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to sign off if there is no other questions. Menopause, okay. Thank you so much. And men could use exactly the same methods because after all, they have the same, except they don't have a uterus and ovaries. You know what else they got that we don't have. It's the same place. So all of those things are the same. If you want to help let's say, with sperm production, just the same thing as just stimulating the thumbs. I teach women what to do on their partners to help, especially with fertility issues. So that's kind of like a funny thing that I teach. But you know what? Because most men are very embarrassed to come in to get those types of treatments. And here's a quick observation. There's one guy, I have a handful, most of my clients are women, and the handful that I have of men. And I remember asking this one guy, this is always a tough question to ask somebody. I just asked him, are you okay in the bedroom? Are your functions, are you okay? And the guy looked at me and said, how do you know that? I said, well, it's in your feet. I could feel it in the reproductive reflex points. So this is how sensitive reflexology can be, to the point where, I know where on the organ and glands there is the imbalance. And that's all I could call it, is imbalance. That's how sensitive reflexology could be. I could almost pinpoint it to exactly where. And then I focus in that area until I get a thank you. So that's something I do with men. Most of the people come to me, come for digestive issues. I could, especially if they're constipated in their intestines, I almost could pinpoint exactly where they're stuffed up or where the blockages are. And then I work on those points until I could feel everything moving. So here's my favorite story. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to end with this story. Hang on 1 second. My throat's dry. This mom brought her 14-year-old child in. She's been constipated for a couple of years. Can you imagine being 14 years old and already constipated? And there I am. I could feel where the constipation is. She has a slow, sluggish movement of food, mobility, where the food doesn't enter into the small intestines and needs some help. And I could feel it was backed up. And here's this young girl already taking Marilax. No kid should be taking Marilax. As I'm working, I said, you know what? Chances are very good you're going to go to the bathroom tonight. And she didn't think anything because she's only 14 years old. I said, go home, start in here, drink a lot of water to flush. So she went home. Within the hour, she started to feel a stirring. Her stomach is bubbling. And also she had a rush to the bathroom. What came out of her, that poor girl, was so fierce, and there was so much of it, it hit the back of the wall. So I guess sometimes the way people sit, you don't cover the whole toilet seat. It hit the back of the wall. She was so appalled of how much came out of her that she didn't go to school the next day. So all I could say was that was a success. And then eventually what I like to do in my online school, which I'm going to do next, I think, is a digestive one. Because if you don't have a good gut, that's your foundation to your health, is what's in your stomach. So that's something I would like to teach, between the diet, why energy gets trapped in there. But I will have to teach it as, it'd probably be a couple-hour class, so it would not be a tip. So that's something you're interested in, just let me know, and then I'll set that up as a class. So any other questions? Okay, thanks for the information about menopause. Gut health, yes, it's extremely important. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. So let me know. Let me know if you want me to do another live chat next Monday. And then if you have a subject that you would like to talk about, that's something I'm more than open. All right. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, Helen Chin Liu from the Healing Place Energy School. Go check out my school. And before you know it, you will awaken your inner healer. Bye-bye, and be well, be safe. All right. All right. Thank you. Bye, sweeties.